Good afternoon, morning, evening, whatever. Um, Thought I would share how I do alignments on the Humvees. So lots of options out there. A lot of you folks might take it into an alignment shop and pay a lot of money and find that your first trip out, your alignment's whacked again. So if you're using these rigs like they're supposed to be used, best to figure out how to do your alignments yourself. Parts move around, tie rod ends get loose, things bend. So it's not hard to do. You don't need to laser it every time. These are not Ferraris. Just get it in the ballpark and call it good. And so I'll show you a couple tricks that may or may not help you, or you may just say, that guy's an idiot. And often I am. But this is how I do it without spending money because I am a cheap dude. So, all right, here, I'll just show you what I do. Want to be a movie star? So this is my M1114. Just recently got it on the road. It's got some big meats. So I'm 40 by 15 and a half, 20-inch wheels. And I took it out for the first time last night, and the thing was just, it actually drove really well, but every time you make a turn, tires are screeching, so I knew the alignment was off, and I just can't believe how well it drove for how off it was. So all I've done here is I've taken some, this is stainless tube, but anything you got, piece of conduit, anything that is true and straight, tubing, gas pipe, whatever. And I've just taken some electrical wire and I just slung it around the tire. So just got the wire going up around the tire. You want to get it into a midpoint where it's hitting the same spot on both sides of the tire. Obviously tires got these protrusion treads. So just find a spot on both sides where it's even and do the same process on both sides and just run your tape measure across the bar. So it's really that simple. With these things, you know, I think anywhere from 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch of toe in is okay on the front. The rear also needs to be aligned. I can't remember the spec. It's, you know, probably a 1/8 or 3/16 toed out, maybe an 1/8. So toe out on the rear, toe in on the front. Couple little tricks. A lot of times these, the clamps and the threads and the rod ends they're just frozen in there. So might need to take a little heat, soak it in advance a couple days, excuse me, if you can. You're gonna need probably a 5/8 and 11/16 box and socket and some kind of wrench. You know, if you got a long pipe wrench, it works good. One little trick, just my recommendation is where the slit is, right there. So the slit in the rod is, I think the clamp should go on like that. I've worked on these, the clamps are all over the place, maybe it doesn't matter, but to me that's where the clamp is most effective. And you'll figure it out, you know, when you're in there, which way is toe in, which way is toe out. You just got to mess around with it. Oh, and one other thing, steering wheel. So I started, it drives me nuts when the clicker for the directional's not lined up. So I'm not even sure if this is right, but I just picked the symmetrical position, which I believe, so this, I set the steering wheel straight and I basically eyeballed. That's kind of the other nice thing about using these conduits is you can eyeball down the conduit and kind of see what looks like just about towed in. So I'm aiming just off the back tire a little bit. That's how I start it, with the eyeball, and then I go to the tape measure. So I was able to get it relatively squared up, and I haven't even test driven it yet, so I'll go for a test drive and then I'll remeasure it and fine tune it if needed. But I think that's it. So again, this is not rocket science. Just have a little toe in the back, or toe out in the back, a little toe in the front, and oh, how about death wobble? If you're getting death wobble, a couple things. I haven't heard of death wobble issues, but start with the ball joints. Well, you can go do an inspection and replace things one at a time, but I would go through, if you got death wobble, that means pretty much the whole front end's likely worn out. So I'd go all new rod ends. I'd go with new upper and lower ball joints. I would do a new, what is that called? The idler. So this is the idler arm. So you got the pitman arm on one side, the idler on the other. These idlers wear out and make sure you get the newest, strongest. There's some
Poopy
shitty ones out there, crappy ones, and some good ones. So try that first. If that doesn't work, you can try balancing your wheels. You can try rotating wheels around, and then when you're using big offset tires like this, the back spacing often plays a big role in death wobble. So you may just have too much back spacing for your rig, and you may just have to go to a different wheel combo. So those are the things that I would look for if you got a death wobble issue. But death wobble is scary as all hell, so hopefully you don't have that. So you got other comments, please let me know. Just trying to share with folks what works for me and what's cheap and dirty. All right, have fun out there.